Yeah, but now it's preparing the live stream. It can't make its mind up.
Jeez.
I guess it depends on who we're talking with, right?
Hey, you can't talk.
I don't know if we're live or not. I think we're live. They can't make their mind up if we can do a video or not. So it's
Okay,
Sue
I got.
Greenwald here with Awakened Stories today, here with the one, the only, bum, ba, 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 John F. Kennedy Jr. Hey, John, how are you?
I am doing good. Just 1 second, Sue. No
Yep,
talking.
yep. Well, we were having trouble logging in. I mean, there's no surprise there, right? They don't really want us to be talking. They don't want us to do the videos. They don't want this or that. But here we are. We are persisting, right? And we need to get the story out there. So we're doing our video. Okay.
Allie.
Yeah. So you're on Facebook Live at the same time?
I am. Maybe I'm
Awesome.
not. They're looking at the ceiling right now.
Okay, so as always, we're going to be talking about all the content John has given us through the years in several books: Stolen Identity, Quest for Justice, Historian's Tale, and of course, I forgot the last one, and I am so sorry, I forgot it. But all of that content is what John has shared with us over the years. And then if you want to see an excellent 1 hour documentary that tells the story of John's life and why he's here trying to break out into the public, go to thequietjourney.tv. It's a 1 hour documentary, fabulously done, and it will educate you quickly. And then you don't have to ask all the questions that people ask.
And on Facebook, David Quigley. I'm the one with 86,000 followers right now. But there's two videos pinned to the top of my page. One of them is Sue, and one of them is a giveaway. I'm giving away 4 books, 2 pendants, and a 1964 Kennedy half dollar, thank you card, bumper stickers, buttons, all that good stuff at the end of next month. And all you have to do to get in the hat is share it. So if you go to David Quigley, go to the post at the very top, click on share, and your name will be entered, and you can win 4 autographed
Awesome.
books
Awesome.
and pendants and a whole 9 yards. And I'll probably just have somebody that doesn't know anything about Facebook and say, okay, that's the winner right there.
Awesome.
But yeah,
It,
so we've got, I think, over 200 shares since yesterday,
awesome.
which is awesome. They like hindering us. You know, with 200 shares, you should probably have 100,000 views, but that's not the way it works with the Kennedy story.
So let me just ask a question. Is it one winner that gets all that stuff, or is it multiple winners?
No, it's going to be one winner, but I might feel sorry for some people that just can't afford it and send them a book
It's
when,
good. Yeah, it's good.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just one deal,
Awesome.
and
Awesome.
it's for the big prize.
Right.
It's like there was a gal that commented on a video last night. I seen it, and she said, my son has post traumatic stress disorder. He was in the Navy, and I was like, I need to send that gal a pendant. I
Yeah.
really do for her
Yeah.
son. So
So,
I give
yeah.
things away sometimes, books that people can't afford, and yeah.
So this is John's healing pendant. Okay, sorry that it's moving because it's the camera's not focusing for some reason, but okay, pretend it was still. Okay. It's got John's face on one side. It's the face that the picture that he's used on Stolen Identity. So this is not a great picture of it, okay? So this is the rainbow small, and then this is what the back looks like. Okay, it comes with the chain. And these pendants come in 5 colors and 2 sizes. And they are collector's items because they have John's there you go. That's a better like view. All right. But what I want to say about the pendants is that they have healing frequencies. So about let's say that we started doing these videos about 3 years ago, because I don't actually know at this
I
point
know,
how long.
doesn't time fly?
Yeah, isn't that
It
crazy?
really
3 years.
does.
But John wasn't feeling perky and very good at that point. And one of the things he's told us, he thought he was going to die, which is why he really wanted to get the story out before that happened. So he was gifted, healing pendants. They were in the dog tag style, like this one. Okay, again, this is a small, and there's a larger size, but he wore that every day. I don't know if you still have it on. You probably have your own on,
Well, I
but
just took a shower, so I didn't put it on back on
yeah,
yet. Um, but yeah, it's almost been 5 years now. I was on the operating table right up the hill, and they told me I probably wouldn't even make it off the operating table. And they were talking about sending me to Las Vegas for a heart transplant. And that was 5 years ago. And I'm still ornery as hell, and I'm still kicking. So, um, yeah, it's all good. I have good days and bad days, but most of them are good because I'm still here, and I
yeah,
probably shouldn't be.
yeah. Well, what I wanted to say about these pendants is that we've seen you. All right, we do videos at least once a week. There's been some gaps, but sometimes we do them twice a week, whatever. We've seen John improve, 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 improve. You look better, you look healthier, you're perkier. You know what I mean? Like all the good things have happened to you. And, obviously you have our support, and you've got the love of the viewers, most of them, and that doesn't hurt any. But then having the healing frequencies next to your body all the time is so helpful. And we're seeing that
I
with
think
our
King
videos.
knows when I'm not feeling too good either, because this morning he messaged me and he's like, "How you doing, young man?"
Yep.
I always say, "Just great. It's great."
Yeah.
He's the power of positive thinking.
Yes. Yeah. And
So you never want to tell King you're not feeling good.
well, right.
And for everybody on Facebook here, we are you're live on YouTube now.
Yes.
Awakened Stories with Sue Greenwald, and that's on YouTube. You can go catch us live, and then you don't just have to see me, you can actually see Sue.
Yep.
So please switch over or go back. Hey, Robin, what was that crash outside?
Yeah, he does look younger too.
I thought I heard something over. Just look out the window. Maybe it's a postman or something. I don't know. I heard a pretty big crash. Was it you that we were doing a live with, Sue, when I was up at the campground and the big explosion happened?
No,
And I had to run out the door and see what it was because it was
no,
such a big explosion. I
no.
don't remember who that was, but I actually had an RV tire blow up on the RV while I was doing a live. It was
Yeah,
crazy. It was so loud it shook the whole house, and I'm
yeah,
like, somebody just threw a bomb at us.
yeah.
But it was all
Done
good.
on purpose, of course, you know, to distract.
Yeah,
So
it
there's all,
blew the sidewall right out of the right when
yeah.
I was doing a live.
Yeah, of course. It always, so we've had so much censorship and interferences and blockages. And, I've had it here like people will come to the door and pound on the door and like crazy things. Our power goes out, the internet goes out, and, crazy things happen. So they don't want the story out there. And like I said, we're persisting anyway. We need to get justice for John. We need to get his story out there. So, last week when we were talking, we did have a very vocal viewer, say that three times, very vocal viewer,
I
that
get them
wanted
all
to
the
know
time.
your entire story. And, the quickest way right now is to watch thequietjourney.tv. It's the story in a 1 hour nutshell, right? So that guy kind of gives the story, but the
Yeah,
story is John was replaced by an imposter as when he was a child. Okay, so the imposter is the one we saw on People magazine, on Opal, and out in the news and doing this, living this lavish lifestyle, while John lived a life of torture, kidnapping, murder,
it was all
poverty.
set up by our very own government, and that
Yep,
imposter was actually my stepbrother.
yep,
Um, our government had my mother marry Aristotle Onassis, and the whole time they were planning on unaliving all of them and
yep,
stealing all their money.
yep,
It's always about money, and that's what the plan was. That's how evil our government is. But the best way, yeah, is go to the Quiet Journey, um, and
.tv, yeah.
watch the 1 hour, 1 minute, or 11 minute, something like that documentary that was done by some wonderful, wonderful, blessed people that
Yeah.
came down from Colorado to set that up for me. They set
Yeah.
the studio up for me. I'll volunteer to do that. The next best way after the Quiet Journey is go to the website and get the book. You
Yeah.
share your support by getting the book,
Yeah.
and it'll wake you up. It'll
Yeah.
wake you up. You're getting all the interviews right here. You can throw it on your coffee
Yeah.
table,
Yeah.
and it's for a good cause. Gas in my pickup truck now that it costs $80 for a half a tank.
Wow. That's crazy. So,
I was able to get a full tank for $80, $90 in my pickup when it was on empty.
yeah.
And I went there the other day. I put $80 in it, and it barely a half a tank for 80
No
bucks.
way, Jose. That's awful. So this book, Quest for Justice, I compiled from all the videos John and I had done. So this was done last year, 2025, and at the time we had over, I think, 100 videos. So there's a lot of stories he's told us. And I organized it in my way, the way my mind wanted to do it, but I didn't make up the contents. All right. So I didn't make it up. I just put it together in my way. But it tells you quickly, what happened to John. And of course, being a president's son, he met a lot of celebrities as a child, and that continued. And then, once you basically, John lived with the Quigleys in California. Okay, so his legal name at this point is David Quigley. Okay, that's why you would make donations out to David Quigley. That's what his name is on Facebook. But basically, he was taken around by organized crime, witness murders, witness all this stuff, as well as had so many evil things perpetrated against him. So that's like the story. And there's so many details. Like you can't just say A through Z in a few sentences. It's a very complex story.
I've got a story to share that I don't think I've shared. We were talking about every time we share a story, another story pops up. But we were
Yep.
talking about the
Yep.
tire blowing up while I was doing a live. Well, when I was with the Quigley family, um, I had a construction job, and I didn't have a vehicle. I was walking. They did everything they could to keep me poor. But the guy I was working for on construction said, you need a vehicle to get back and forth to work. So they found me this car that was 800 bucks. And they said, we're going to buy you this car. And I was like, oh, great. Now I can get a car. So they got me the car. I painted the car myself, really good paint job in the garage there. And I went over to a friend's and we started partying. We ended up coming back to the Quigleys down this dirt road. It was a dirt road. It was called Patrick Avenue. Well, Patrick Kennedy lived on the house on the hill. And he used to hate people going fast down the dirt road, down his road, because it was named Patrick Avenue. But anyway, me and my friend were partying and we're in my new car and I'm all happy. And we're going down the dirt road. All of a sudden, I had a blowout on my back rear tire. The car started fishtailing. It started rolling down the dirt road. I think we rolled like 7 times over and over, end over end. We ended up falling the car, and I just got the car, but it fell on a big rock pile. And I got out of the car, and guess who came down to see if I was all right? Patrick Kennedy. He says, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think I am." I'm like, "Thanks for asking." And he's like, "Did drinking have anything to do with it?" And I said, "It could have had a little bit to do with it." And I I was standing there and I looked at my rear tire, and there was a bullet hole in my rear tire that I could put my finger in, and that's what caused the wreck. So I do believe old man Patrick Kennedy was sitting up on the hill on his house with his deer rifle and put one through my tire for me going too fast down his private road when it was a dirt road. No, it wasn't hurting nobody. We used to ride
Whoa.
motorbikes up and down there all the time. So anyway, that car didn't last me too long, but it was story after story after story of things like that they did to hinder my life. Yeah, I was probably going too fast. I was a dumb kid, but the thing is, I had a bullet hole in my tire. But anyway, I just wanted to share that. Just
Yeah.
another story.
Who
But
does?
yeah, I opened my eyes once while I was rolling, and all I saw was shattered glass going everywhere. So I just immediately shut my eyes.
Yep.
The guy that was with me actually flew out of the car window on the first rollover and ended up in the soft grass next to a barbed wire fence. And he was okay. So it wasn't so bad. We both walked away. It was just car
Wow.
damage. But the
Wow.
thing is, it was a bullet hole in the back tire.
Wow.
Um, they did a lot of things to hinder me that way. So I just wanted to share that.
So he just didn't like you driving so fast on his road, and he literally shot your tire out.
I believe so.
And you really,
Either that or he knew he was an imposter in the Kennedy story and knew who I was, and it's really hard to say. It is.
you
There was
both,
some crazy people hanging around the Quigley family, and that whole street was stolen and resold real estate. The Kennedy estates. It was all pretty hardcore mafia related Secret Service because the whole community in there was basically a Secret Service protection training ground. Um, all the children from these people in the Secret Service were under MK Ultra. They were being taught but yeah, that's how they work. And I'm exposing them whether they like it or not.
wow, that is crazy. Wow. So that was a guy named Patrick Kennedy. So he wasn't a Kennedy, like part of your family. He was
I
just,
imagine he might have been, but he
he
might
might
have
have,
been a replacement too.
okay. Okay. Interesting.
Because yeah, it was hardcore Secret Service crap going
Okay.
on.
Okay.
So more than likely, yeah, he was part of the whole shebang.
Wow. Okay.
You
I'm
know,
just
the Quigleys just happened to be my handlers and just happened to buy property on Patrick Kennedy Road.
wow. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah. And the fact that he shot your tire out, I mean, you could have been seriously hurt. Like if you
Could have
go,
killed me. Maybe
yeah,
that. I mean, there was a lot of attempts on my life at that time,
yeah.
and maybe that was an attempt on my life because right down the dirt road a little further, that's where they shot at me from the bushes, and the bullet went right by my cheek. That's the same spot where I caught people hopping the fence coming to my house with weapons. Um, Crazy things happened on that
Yeah.
street.
Yeah.
My own brother, I was in the house. The Quigleys were gone, but my own brother was in the bathroom crying, dropping bullets on the counter. And, I've had weapons my whole life and know what a bullet sounds like when it drops on the counter. And he was like, "This is so." I heard him talking to himself in the bedroom, but I hauled ass out the back door. That's another long story, but yeah, I thought he was loading a gun to shoot me and get it over with. Yeah, a lot of crazy shit happened. It
Well,
really did.
and he did a lot of nefarious things toward you anyway. Like he had your son point your gun at you when you were sleeping one time, that kind of
Oh
stuff,
yeah.
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
he had a young kid, but the Secret Service agent was there also. His name was Victor. His name was Steve. His name was George. Now that I think about it, I thought he was kind of Hispanic, but now that I think about it, he was probably Israeli.
Oh,
Um, but he was one of the smartest men I've ever. I was always told Israeli intelligence in the spy game is the best in the world, and this man spoke so many different languages I couldn't count them all. He was one of the most intelligent men that I've ever met.
yeah.
But My brother and him actually had probably a 15-year-old kid pointing a pistol at my head, and my brother Max was saying, "Hurry up and shoot him." Um, they had me standing right in front of a dumpster. All they had to do was shoot me and throw me in. And I still thank God to the car that pulled up. You know, this was like a warehouse district at the airport where the jets are flying over, making all kinds of noise, and I'm standing in front of a dumpster with my brother, the Secret Service agent, and this kid pointing a gun at me. And a car pulled up from the street and was shining his lights right on that little kid pointing a gun at me. So that basically saved my life. God, Daddy works in some mysterious ways.
What happened to the kid? Did they stop?
Um, the George Victor Steve told him, no, don't do it. It's not the right time. And actually, he went and hid behind a trash can. And I walked over to him, and he had a gun in his hand too. And it was going to be a total on hit if that car didn't show up. And I just said, "You're not going to win." That's what I told him. I said, "You are not going to win." I said, "It's in the cards," and that was my exact words. I said, "It's in the freaking cards, and you know it." And I never saw him again.
Wow. Wow. So you have so many
And
interesting
more than
stories.
likely, Wayne was out there in that car, or Hell's Angel, or somebody was out in that car that pulled
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
They probably tracked me to that location, or something. But anyway, God was good to me that day. I should have been on the hit list, and just
Yeah.
another one of the
Yeah.
stories.
I mean, some of your stories are just amazing stories. And like the story where you were poisoned and then basically you were rescued by a guy, right? And like you're not doing well, clearly. Okay, you're
Yeah.
poisoned. And then another car pulls up. So they're like literally fighting over you. That is an amazing story.
Well, there's two sides to the war. You had to, and you got to remember when organized crime is so huge, they can't they can't reveal themselves for being a good guy if they're working with the bad guys because they'll
Yep.
be unalive themselves. So
Yep.
I was being tortured by the good guys, so I wouldn't talk. So I would think they were the bad guys. And I was being tortured for information by the bad guys trying to get information from the good guys. People don't realize how
Yeah.
crazy it is at the top.
Yep.
It really is.
Yeah.
One story about that is it's a crazy story, but there was a group of terrorists. I was there. I was learning. But basically, there was a group of terrorists that got arrested. They were all going to Gitmo. And Wayne actually grabbed one of the terrorists that was on our side and hung him off his feet on the wall. There was like a hook on the wall, and Wayne actually put him on this hook. And it was like Wayne did that because he was a good guy and he didn't want all the bad guys thinking he was the good guy. But anyway, I think our government released all the names and all that and got him killed anyway.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous game, spy versus spy. It is. And then now you got all these goopy, crazy motherfuckers in office that don't have a clue. They basically stole people's identity that had worked so hard in learning and the knowledge um, of how it really works, that people don't understand how it really works. That picture of me in Vietnam, the picture of me holding a weapon with the president of the Hells Angels, all those pictures of me and what they taught me as a child in Vietnam, a lot of people don't get that. They really don't. But that was me being a made man. They made me, they taught me, they trained me to be a made man.
Yeah.
And people just think they can come in and steal somebody's identity and become them without all the knowledge. That's why the country's falling apart, is because they stole the positions of power and they don't have the freaking knowledge to run it correctly.
And the more you know about what's going on, the more you see, the more you learn, the more you realize that's been their MO since time started, right? They take identities, they take the resources, they don't care who they tread on, right? They're just whatever it takes. Like they're like King Smarty says, it's a dog eat dog world, right? Whatever it takes, they're willing to do. They don't care if people die, innocents die. They don't care if things are destroyed. They're just going to take whatever they want and do whatever they want.
And it's stolen money. They basically can
Yeah.
wipe their butt with it because it's not just a few dollars. It's not just $1 million.
Yeah.
It's billions and trillions of stolen dollars from us.
Yep.
They can play cowboy and Indian all they want with all this stolen money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for everybody on Facebook, joining live if you missed it, we are on Awakened Stories with Sue Greenwald. You can go there and watch us live, and that way you just don't have to see me, but you can see both of us.
Yep. Yep. Anyway, we had a couple questions from the viewers. I'm able to see questions today, which is exciting.
Oh,
So, did you ever speak with your uncle Ted Kennedy? Have you ever met him or talked with him at all?
yeah. The last time I remember Ted, he was with Marie Schreiber. We were in this community called Yosemite Lakes Park that I was just talking about earlier, that was the headquarters, almost like a training ground for the Secret Service.
Hmm.
They had a clubhouse there. It had a bar, a restaurant, a great big lake. And I was actually on the boat dock fishing for a bass when I was a young teenager. I believe this was probably 1974, 1975, somewhere in that area. And Wayne brought Ted Kennedy and Maria Shriver both. I was actually wearing a Ted Kennedy shirt, not a Ted Kennedy, a Dead Kennedy shirt. You
Ah,
know, the San Francisco rock band, the Dead Kennedys. But if you looked at all the pictures that I've showed, of like me with Sonny, me with the Hells Angels, I actually spray painted on my T-shirt the Dead Kennedys. Um, that's how us poor people did, showed our support. Instead of going buying a T-shirt that said AC/DC on it at the concert, we just spray paint our own. So I sprayed in my own shirt that said the Dead Kennedys. I had that shirt on, and Ted Kennedy walked up. Maria Shriver was there. She said, "I'm insulted by that T-shirt." I don't think she might have knew that it was a band to expose the corruption, like the Dead Kennedys were. And Ted Kennedy was there, and they were standing there. And I think Wayne asked Ted Kennedy right then and there, "Are you going to help bring him out?" And he said, "No, he's a pothead. He's a drug addict. Look at this kid." I was fishing with a spray painted T-shirt that said the Dead Kennedys. So they didn't want to say, "Oh, look at this kid. This is one of our blood." Something else was going on there. I don't know if Ted Kennedy had been murdered and replaced with identity theft, but I did meet him in the 70s. He was asked if he was going to help bring me out and expose the criminals of what they did to my father and the rest of my family members. Maria Shriver was right there, and they
yeah.
said no. They were not going to help bring me out. And that's the last time, I think that's the only time I met Maria Shriver. That was the last time I ever seen Ted Kennedy. So I knew they were both sellouts right then and there. You do everything. I was taught you do everything for your blood family. That's the way I was taught. I would kill for my blood family. I really, really would. And I still might have to. But anyway, yeah. So when they actually deny, it's like, how could anybody even deny a blood
Right.
family member like that and
Right.
turn their back on it and be a politician put in place for the rest of his years?
And especially back in the 70s, like it was cool to look, we people had long hair, belt, like the style wasn't tailored. We'll just put it that way. Like right now the style is like questionable because everyone's wearing their pajamas to Walmart or whatever, you know what I mean? But so there was like people did not dress traditionally starting about then.
Oh,
It
well, I
started to
was a
go,
punk rocker too. I was a cowboy. I was
yeah.
a punk rocker. But yeah, I had a safety pin stuck in my ear for an earring. My hair was probably, I had so many different haircuts. I was always shaving my hair. Maybe I had a mohawk. I don't know. But yeah, I was like the little rebel punk rocker kid at that
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
So just a little phase.
yeah,
But yeah, that was a San Francisco thing.
yeah. Okay, can you do you have the fourth book that you could hold up? I think it's called Legacy of Truth by Lanny Lewis.
I
And
do.
I don't ha well, Lanny, if you're watching this, I want to apologize. I keep forgetting the name of your book. All right. It just isn't sticking in the brain for some reason.
I had one sitting
Yeah.
here, and I ended up having me and Robin sign it for our giveaway. So
That's fine. It's
everything
fine.
everything in our giveaway is
Yeah.
in a little basket, all ready to mail off to the winner.
Awesome. Awesome.
But this is it here. This is Lanny's book,
Okay, there you go. Legacy of Truth. Yeah.
and it is on Lulu. I've never been to Lulu to see how much it costs, but it's a great coffee table book,
Yep.
and my picture's all off this.
So lulu.com if you
I don't
want a
know if that's
copy of
on
it.
your end or not.
Yeah, definitely. You're all, there you go. Your camera like zoomed in for some
You
reason.
kicked me out of the room for a minute there, Sue.
Well, last week I had camera trouble, and in one video I was like all the way in the edge, like down in the corner. And it is what it is. We just gonna we're persisting, right? So, like I say every year, we're gonna pound our fist on the table and say justice for John 2026. And thank you all for sharing the stories. Thanks for watching the videos and supporting John in whatever way you do. It's greatly
I
appreciated.
don't even have a stolen identity sitting here.
I do. Wait a minute. Let me get mine. Here's stolen identity. That's what
That's
the
the
cover
first
looks
one you
like.
want to get for the collection.
And this is what the pendant is based on. Like that's the picture that's on the pendant. Okay. So this book is excellent. It's the first, I mean, she did an amazing job, right?
She really did.
Yeah, it's very well done. I mean, I read it the first time in one sitting and basically cried my eyes out. Then the second sitting, I went through it more thoroughly to understand the story more. And then here we are, right?
Well, I was proofreading it myself, and I read a few pages, and I was in tears, and I walked out the door. I walked around the block.
Yeah.
I came back. I said, I got to proofread this, and I read a few more pages. I got teared up and emotional again, and then I just took a
Yeah.
walk to the store, and then I came back in. I said, I got to proofread this and approve it to be published, and I said, screw it. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
So I did read a few pages, and so basically, yeah, I didn't read the whole book because it was too emotional. The
Yeah.
truth is too,
She did a good job. Yeah.
yeah.
So this is the second book, The Historian's Tale by Mary Maxwell. These are on the website, the real John F. Kennedy, jr.com, as is what we'll call book 3, Quest for Justice. And then we've got book 4, Legacy of Truth.
And
So
if you want this book and you don't want to cross your fingers and wait for the lottery to come next month when I give away the book prize, you can go on the website and you can ask Sue to get an autographed copy of this.
yeah,
And I will be sending you some more autographed copies soon.
good, good. Excellent. So yeah, I have I'm going to say 6 autograph copies and about 6, and then we'll be getting more in. And they will be collector's items, or they are, just like the pendants are. But the book, like the book I did is basically it was based on all the stories I had heard up to the point where I wrote it. So, like the ones you told me this morning are not in here, right? So,
Yeah.
it's all good though. Like it gives you the story of all the things John went through: plane crashes, helicopter crashes,
And
murders.
these books help. We're trying to make a better America and expose
Yeah,
this satanic, evil, corrupt government
yeah,
that we have. The people that run it within Hollywood, the entertainment industry.
yeah,
It's huge organized crime, and we're trying to expose them And we do plan on making a difference. And you're showing us and others that, hey, you helped.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking that earlier before the video, before we came on. I was thinking, what am I going to be known for if I pass away? And I was thinking, you know, most people in this day and age, nobody's going to remember who you even were. They won't. You know, I mean, that's just a proven fact. You know, even 200 years ago, what was your family members? Who remembers your great great grandfather? Nobody. But who remembers names like George Washington and Abraham Lincoln? Everybody. So we're all going to be known for exposing these people. If this makes any sense to you, if you want to
Yeah.
be known, get a book and share your support, and let's change it for the better, and let's go down in history
Yeah.
for making the future of America.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always been my opinion that if you see a wrong and you don't try to do something or help in some way, like everyone has their way, you're equally complicit, right? So now that I see the wrongs that have been done, I mean, there, I have limited resources, but my way of helping is to share information out there, okay? By doing these videos, by writing the book or whatever, it's to share the information, right? So people understand the story better, because it's not an easy story to know. It's like, it doesn't go like this happened, then this, and then the end. It's very complex,
I
right?
got a I got a few comments on Facebook that I'm not very nice. Just today, I get them all the time.
Yeah.
But here's my thinking, people, just so you understand where I'm coming from. I'm spending my time all the time to make a future that I'm probably not even going to see. I'm not going to see your children grow up in a better America. That's just how it is. But I'm each and every day, I'm out here sharing the story for you guys, for a better America. A lot of people have already died for this country. And to throw all that away, I'm here for them. So when people disrespect me and I say, you know, smart people get it, I basically call them all stupid. I hope you get where I'm coming from for what I'm trying. I got called a grifter earlier for me trying to sell a book so I can give away a book.
Yeah. Well,
It's just not right. And then you got the Epstein files. These people in the Epstein files are the people I'm exposing. It's the big picture. It's deeper than them abusing children. It's them torturing
right,
children, getting children to become a part of their evil satanic club.
right,
Hello, people.
right.
So hit the share button. Let's get this story out so I can go fishing someday. Really?
Yeah. Well, like, okay, so it does feel sometimes like we're just always trying to sell stuff, which is not as much fun as it sounds. Like we're selling the books, we're selling the pendant. But the reason is John has been kept in poverty literally his whole life. No food, no home. The homes he has, some have been burned down. A lot have been taken from him. Like, he doesn't have possessions. He doesn't have money to pay his bills. He doesn't have the ability to hold a job. And so he's trying to get his story out, legit get his story out. And so, all right, like this
Yeah,
particular book is $30. And you're like, oh, $30 is a lot. Well, okay, the shipping is included. It costs money to print the book, et cetera, et cetera. There's fees. And then we're shipping it to you for free. So whatever proceeds are given to John, I mean, it's not a huge amount of money, but we're trying to
it sure
support him.
helps. So
We're trying
it
to
really, it's a
support.
blessing. It is.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you just want to donate, that's, if you don't need a product, there's a donate link on the website, the real John F. Kennedy Jr.com.
I was telling on a live video just the other day. I had a friend of mine, Dawn. I think he might have even popped his head in here once,
Yeah.
but he had some crazy idea of buying me a limousine, and he wanted to pick me up in this limousine and take me and Robin to dinner over at the casino so we could act all important. Anyway, I thought it was a cool idea. He
Yeah.
even made an offer on this limousine to do that. So I was sharing that story. And I said I mentioned the people want $5,000 for this limousine that he wanted to buy. So I was thinking, what could I sell to help pitch in Dawn so we could get this limousine? Somebody, you're sitting there calling, you're a grifter, you're calling yourself John Kennedy Jr., and you're begging people for $5,000. I was like, no, actually, I was sitting here thinking, what could I sell? I could sell my Harley and buy two limousines. But yeah, it's funny how people don't see the big
Yeah,
picture and just
yeah,
assume too much already.
yeah.
You
Well,
know, if I had a limousine, it would say JFK Jr. and I'd put flags on each front, above the headlight, and people would start hearing the story about how government stole billions of dollars from me, and now I'm riding around all high and mighty classy in a $5,000 limousine. Oh my God, people!
I,
Hello, they
well,
stole billions from me and my family and my step family, total billions of dollars. This right here, people, they call me a fucking grifter. And I don't mean to raise my voice. This is what Donald Trump and Sotheby's auction, along with the man that stole my identity. This is $34 million worth of possessions in this book. This was my loved ones that they stole. And I get people saying, you're asking for $5,000 for a limousine? Fuck you guys that asked me that shit. Sorry, Sue. I know this is your program, so
no,
I'm
no.
gonna calm down a little bit.
I had somebody write a comment, I think it was last week or so, that said, "Oh my God, John swears a lot." And I'm like, all right, put yourself in his shoes. Like all the stuff you've gone through your entire life. And then you have people that are, we call them haters. Some are paid to block, interfere, and cause doubt. Some are paid. Some are just ignorant. Some, like, the normal person that doesn't believe what you have to say would just move on and not argue with you. But people want to argue because they got nothing better to do, right? And it's just frustrating. So I think you're justified in being angry at the way you were treated. Look at your own government did this to you. Our own government, for those in the US.
And they're
Like, and we're
lying
like,
to
oh, the
you.
government would never do that. Oh, really? Have you seen any of the Epstein files? Any of those videos or photos yet? Those are your government officials. Those are your
Yeah,
entertainers and musicians,
I would love Donald Trump to hold up a sign that says David Quigley was my cousin John F. Kennedy Jr. And the world needs to know all the corrupt shit that we did to this man. Not gonna
Yeah,
happen. So
yeah,
yeah, when you all are waving your Donald Trump flags and supporting him, and you go on Fox News and you hear my friend Sean Hannity that knows the whole story,
yeah,
and they're covering it all up, my blood tends to boil. It really
yeah,
does.
yeah. And the people don't like the people that are influential, those with money, let's say. Okay. They know the truth. They're not going to help because it incriminates them or they're afraid of being retaliated against, right? So they're not going to help. There's no help coming from anyone except the people. The people have got to be about fed up with what's going on and want change. We're
I
getting
was just
close.
I was just looking on Facebook here, and I see Lanny and Shannon, all kinds of wonderful people, and I was just thinking, those all those people support Smarty, and you, and all these people are here because of Smarty and
Yeah.
you and
Yeah.
them, and you all are some of the best freaking people in the whole world. You really are. You got hearts of gold. You
Woohoo!
do. Thank you.
Well, yeah. All right. So there's really good supporters. I mean, there's those that believe in your story and want to help. And they're here now. I can see who they are, right? And then there's those that are, they might be at work or they might be doing whatever. They'll come on later to watch the video and get more information. Because, like, these stories are popping out. And I think also when you see the new photos, that kind of jogs your memory a little bit. Like you might remember the incident or what, the situation was when that photo was taken. And that seems like it's really happened a lot in the past year or so. So this morning you sent me some pictures from, what was the name of the show? Emergency from like the
No, it's
70s?
one Adam 12.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, I had seen it. I don't know, about 2 years ago. And this morning I was sitting there and it was on TV. So it's like I got my camera out and I started taking pictures. But one episode of Adam 12, I was in the bars. They greased my ears.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, my mom's going to get so mad at me. But
Yep. Yeah.
this episode was perfect to explain how MK Ultra works in Hollywood children.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find it.
They basically had me in an airplane. This was a Hollywood, for Hollywood, but they had me under MK Ultra, and I was in this airplane, lifeless, because I was under a deep hypnosis. They came in, they picked me up, they carried me out, set me on the ground, then they put me on a stretcher, put me in an ambulance. But you can see that my body is lifeless. I didn't have to act. There was no acting involved. I was out of it. I think Henry even seen that I showed some pictures. He said it looks like you have a black eye. Why? Because I was in the Panda Club, people. So it's good to show that, to explain. Yeah, they even gave me mouth to mouth resuscitation on the show. And the thing is, they called me Bobby. Everything they do in Hollywood in shows, that's their books. That's how they're getting it out to their other mafia friends. But the guy that was sitting there with the cigarette in his mouth, he was like, "That's little Bobby." So everything, but yeah, I didn't have to play a part, and I don't really remember a lot of it. I remember sitting in the, at first in the airplane and them telling me what I had to do, but there was actually, for the film, they had shit dripping on my head. It was supposed to be gasoline, like they were going to burn me alive. And they probably told me that when I was little. They probably said, "You sit here and shut up, or you're going to burn alive." You see the gas. That's how they work with MK Ultra. They scare the shit out of you. They torture you, but you're under a deep hypnosis. So in that episode, what they did was they had me under an MK Ultra. They probably took me back to the Quigley family, put me in bed. The next day I woke up and I never knew I was on the show One Adam 12. That's how they operate. That's how they unalive people. They get little kids to do their dirty work. They put them in bed. They wake up. It's government programming and it's hardcore shit.
Yeah.
And people need to really figure out what MK Ultra is. It is one hardcore weapon. I've learned it because I was the victim of it over and over and over and
Right.
over again. So I'm sharing what it's all about, and I hope people really pay attention to it.
Yeah. Well, I've seen some of the shows that you've been in. I've seen that one where your head is in the bars. And like you said that there was something in your mouth. They made you kind of like your talk crooked, if you will.
Yeah,
And
actually, they for when I was with Doris Day and Brian Keith and all these others as Richard Steele, because there was
yeah.
two of us. There was actually a Richard Steele, but I was Richard Steele also. And I do believe he got hurt or injured or something, so they just kept using me over and over and over again in these programs.
Mm-hmm.
But Wayne actually had a dental thing. If you notice in these movies, in these programs, I'm talking like a goofball out the side of my mouth like this. I actually had a denture stuck in my mouth to make me. I mean, it's Hollywood. They do shit like that.
Yeah.
In the photo Sue just sent you, my hair was blonder than it usually is. That's Hollywood. They dyed my hair. You look at all these Hollywood actors, they look different in every single movie.
Yep.
It's because they work magic. They really do.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had me talking goofy on purpose. They didn't want the world to know little John Kennedy Jr. was really Richard Steele.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they fooled the world, just like they fooled the world with replacing me with the John Kennedy, George Onassis, the whole world knew.
Yeah.
And if people pay attention when I point it out, they really see it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the people that don't pay attention and don't want to do a 5 minute research and look at the ears and the features and say, yeah, how could that guy be that Greek guy
Right.
with the curly hair? Yeah, but it only takes 5 minutes and people can figure it out
Right.
what I'm sharing.
Yeah. Well, it's clearly apparent when you look at you and compare the your childhood photo. You can tell it's you. And I know people do change, obviously you grow and all that, but you can see the resemblance so clearly where there's no resemblance whatsoever with the imposter, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I really do think, at a younger age, he was buffaloed. They were lying to him. He was under MK Ultra also. But
Yeah.
when he became an adult and he wanted me dead because he wanted to keep his secret about all the money he'd already inherited and the millions of dollars, and he was flying me to the um, island where they were having a wedding to kill me and take my life, it's all on then. I have no
Yeah.
remorse for him. I don't mind seeing his dead, bloated body. And it's like really wanted to give it a kick and say, that's what you get for trying to take my life. When
Yeah.
somebody tries to take your life, you only have one. And if they succeed, that's it.
Yeah.
So I have no remorse at all for anybody that actually plans to take my life. None. Zero. I won't cry. I won't shed a tear. Nothing.
Yeah. So we did have a question of whatever happened to George, the imposter.
He crashed in an airplane and died.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And
that is,
that was all because him and his wife poisoned, along with Caroline Kennedy, the fake one, poisoned his mother just for this. Why was that done? If you ever have to ask why, people just remember millions and millions and millions of dollars. And I still remember his wife that everybody loves that they just made a movie about saying, kill David Quigley so the world doesn't know. And now they're making a movie about it. And
yeah.
it's still all lies, people. You're getting the real
Yeah.
story right here. They need to make my movie. They need to make a movie. I'm talking with Sue and Smarty and the crew of how we're doing this each and every day. They need to make an action adventure of little John Kennedy Jr. hanging out with the Hells Angels. It says my internet is unstable. Go figure.
Yes, you're
But yeah,
still,
you want a good movie? Let's make some noise. Little John Kennedy Jr.
yeah.
in Vietnam with the Hells Angels,
Yeah.
cutting off human ears, putting around his neck. Little John Kennedy Jr. in Hollywood, in dozens and dozens of shows. Little John Kennedy in Hollywood with all these people like Steve McQueen. Oh, they're cutting my internet off now.
Yeah, I think we're about done for today anyway. But yeah, it would be we're going to have so many books and movies come out about you. The story will come out. There's going to be more and more and more detail coming out as time goes on. You'll be out there doing public appearances, talking with people. So we want to make sure that this never happens again to anyone. Okay. So,
And there's so many victims, Sue. We always got to remember the victims, and we
yeah,
always got to remember the people that are covering up
yeah,
for their crimes. The Epstein files are real,
yeah.
and the victims are real, and these people in power, they don't want you to know who did it, just like they don't want you to know my story. It's all connected.
It's right.
So hit the share button. Let's do
They,
it.
they don't want the story out, so that just makes me want to get it out there even more.
And I hope it makes all the viewers, and I see everybody on here that shares all the time.
Yep.
But hopefully we can keep growing and growing and growing and get that million followers that we so deserve would be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. We just want people to know about the story and like I said, once you get out there, you'll be doing like the world tours, telling everybody what's happened so it never happens to another child. And also the other whistleblowers will be stepping forward and they'll gain credibility. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the people have had this happen, stories similar to them, but they don't have the credentials that you have. They're
Well,
just regular people.
when
but
you
they
think
deserve
about it,
peace too. Go
if,
ahead.
if if our FBI, our Secret Service, and our CIA were really on the good side of justice, they would be at my front door saying, "John, we want to know your
Yeah,
knowledge, what you've learned, your lifetime on how these evil people work."
yeah,
But
yeah,
there's
yeah.
nobody parked in front of my house in their little black car.
The whole world is experiencing silence about all this stuff that we've witnessed through the Epstein files. Think of it this way, the Hunter Biden laptop, all the stuff that was on that, the Anthony Weiner laptop, all the stuff that was on that.
The Hillary
All of that
Clinton
stuff has been
emails,
brushed. Yeah, it's been
they're
brushed under
all
the
the
rug.
same bird, people. I get a
Yep.
lot of comments from people. Oh, you're just a Democrat. What about Biden? What about the Clintons?
Yeah.
Hello? I plan on hoping to be alive someday to see them put in prison where they belong. All of them. Every
Yep.
single one for crimes against us, the
Right.
American people.
Right. Right. Okay, I think it feels like a good time to wrap up for today before we get too worked up. But
Yeah, before I have a heart
yeah,
attack from being pissed off all the time. But
let's not do that. But again, the story is coming out. We're persisting. We're not giving up. Your help is most welcome and appreciated, and all of your support. And John, your courage for what you've been through and for telling us the story. I've learned a lot the past few years. Like the more I see, the more I see. And and we need to educate other people so they also see.
and the more you're going to keep seeing. And I
Yeah.
see beautiful Brenda Scott on here. Brenda, can you put the website on here in a comment for me, please? The real John F. Kennedy Jr.com. I would
Yep.
so appreciate it.
Yep.
So everybody knows the website. And thank you guys. I'm going to sign off of Facebook now. Um, Go to Sue's page, follow Sue, share Awaken Stories, and let's build up her channel and get this truth out. Thank you so
Yep.
much, guys.
Yep.
Out.
All right, John. Anything else we got to say today, or are we good?
I love you.
All right. Love you too. I will talk to you soon, okay?